So, fursonas. What's a fursona? Our sort of technical definition is an anthropomorphic animal representation or avatar. So this is something that represents you to the entire fandom or to other people in your life or just to yourself. It's how you think of yourself. Now you see why I like the persona picture better. After I was told by my department to take down this picture, this is now my official picture.
Yes!
We asked furries recently because people had told us to look into this. How many fursonas, because we used to ask us, tell us about your fursona, but now we start asking people about the number of fursonas they've ever had, and we find that in general, furries, about half of furries say they've had more than one fursona in their entire life, and about half of furries say that they've only ever had one fursona, and this is the one that, I've always had. That said, when we ask furries, currently how many fursonas do you have? Many more furries say that they have only one fursona. That said, there are some furries who have multiple simultaneous fursonas. I thought you were sneaking up behind me and I was getting a little... Anyone
excited?
Especially him.
Quiet down there.
Alright. So we asked furries, where did your fursona come from? Where did you decide to create this fursona? And furries are much more likely to say that it came from something inside them. It was inspired by a feeling they had, or some kind of representation of themselves.
Furries can turn anything into something dirty.
Something dirty. Nobody's hard.
Bad dragon.
Welcome to the internet.
Furries ruin everything.
So the point of this is that furries, their personas tend to be inspired by something inside of them. They typically don't go online or go to the Lion King and decide, okay, Simba's now my persona. That's not really something furries do.
Why?
Yeah.
So why do furries have personas? Well, one reason is because of a communal norm. Well, if you're a furry just getting into
I'm that guy standing up.
You're all individuals.
So,
No, I'm not.
Just like the other person.
So, the idea is when you're first getting into the fandom, you look around you and everyone around you has got a persona, so you kind of create one as well. That kind of makes sense. But there's other reasons. Some people say that the species they pick are species that they admire or have some kind of reverence for. Others say that it's a form of self-expression. That, a cat just kind of makes sense for me. I'm very much like a cat, and so my personality is best expressed by a cat. So why have personas? Another reason is because it represents some idealized version of yourself. So you say that, I'm kind of a quiet, introverted person, but lions are kind of loud and badass, so, why not? We asked furries to sort of give some reasons why they picked the persona they did. Some of the most popular reasons were that it represents this idealized version of myself, it represents who I am, or it lets me experience something novel that I couldn't otherwise experience in my day-to-day life. We find that most furries say that they consider themselves quite similar to their personas. So they pick personas that really do represent who they are. Not very many furries say that they have a persona that completely has nothing to do with who they are.
That answers a number of questions.
Okay. Now what's interesting, this is a bunch of statistical gobbledygook, but the idea is that furries and how close and how similar they feel to their personas, that's a huge predictor of self-esteem.
We're in the middle of something!
Get back in flight, scientist. You ain't done yet.
Dirk! It's in progress. Aperture science.
Was it just you guys' involvement in the furry fandom in particular that made you want to study it, or was there something about this fandom in particular that really stood out to you?
So what is it about this fandom that got me to study it? Being a furry was a good start. No, when I got to grad school,
Spike the head.
when I got to grad school, I had to study something, and At first they wouldn't let me do my video game research, so I said, okay, I'll do my other interest, was furry, and they let me do that for some reason. And then they let me do my video game research when they realized that the furry thing was weird. So I got both.
Well, I'm a second advisor. I don't work as an official. Yeah. I don't work as Nuka's official advisor. Just
It's not working.
Like unofficial second advisor of sorts.
Speak closer.
Yeah, second advisor of sorts. And you know, when his department was giving him all the hell about doing the furry research, he said, just work with me. We'll get it done. I can sign all the forms, and let's move forward.
And she signed forms.
Yeah, I signed forms.
That's a very important part.
Knows how to write.
Sign forms.
So when someone says no, it's
Approved.
No, it's ethics.
I'm holding a beer and a cigarette and
all right. That was
Use of technology and
Oh yes, yeah. With the internet, yeah. Yeah. Very strong.
I wonder how many is being honest about this. All right, we'll give another minute to the hungry furries to get down here. Yeah, they're working their way down.
We're back.
Yeah. Good enough.
I'm sure that's going to be running around 99.
Good enough. We'll get started again.
You know, if that D20 starts rolling, it could be grizzly.
Don't. I'm not even going to do it. Someone will do it.
That thing's actually not all that heavy.
All right.
I'm at the front. It's gonna hit all of you guys first.
So continuing on.
Don't you say free food and we'll go bum rushing up there again?
So something else went out on me. So we asked furries about their persona's personality and their own personality. So how shy are you? How shy is your persona? How outgoing are you? How outgoing is your persona?
Look at me.
I almost did.
Is Gullible up there?
Where the 4 means that my persona and I are the exact same. Lower numbers mean that I am more like this than my persona. And higher number means that my persona is more like this. So my persona, or I am more shy, introverted, disorganized, predictable, unstable than my persona. My persona is more attractive, confident, energetic, playful, extroverted, enthusiastic than I am.
because every furry has a bigger dick.
You got it.
And it's usually from Bad Dragon.
Yep. Get the ruler. Get the ruler.
And I heard yesterday in a focus group that there's something about shitting dicks with nipples.
Never again. Never again.
Turn it on.
Oh, the horrors. It's not working.
Was everyone here at opening ceremonies?
Nope.
No.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I'm going to really quickly tell the story again in shorts. Dr. Roberts wanted to study furry pornography. So,
There's good news.
I get a text message from her. On a Friday night, because why not? Nuka, how do I find furry pornography?
Here, I'll be neat.
FA.
E621.
Oh.
5 minutes later. I'm out. Again, text message. I'm out.
And what species did it for you?
Dragons.
Bad Dragon.
We're on camera.
What about foxes?
Bad dragon.
So, continuing on. There is a pornography section in this talk. Stay with me.
Yeah.
So,
Say that over the PA, you'll get more audience.
So it seems to be the case that furries tend to have personas that represent good things, and they tend to say that all their sort of bad traits are sort of washed away in their personas. And we also see more evidence from this by the fact that, in general, furries tend to pick predators over prey species. gonna do this for every statistic.
Nuka, next time just say exactly.
You need a
See why this doesn't say every furry?
you need a disclaimer on
Or
average.
the 8%.
Yes, I'm 8%.
I'm 39.5. All right. That said, we do find that a lot of furries don't necessarily identify with either a prey or predator species. They don't think of it as one way or another. Or they identify as both. So the most popular species.
Foxes.
Wolves. Dragons. Wolf. Yes.
So, this is how what percent of fandom belongs to each of these species. Wolf is the most popular single species.
I
Then
made the
fox,
list.
dog, big cat, dragon, mythical, sort of lumped together. House cats, other.
No circles. Yes.
Before you start crapping all over me about the fact that this makes no sense, the fact remains that we got more than 2,500 unique species. I spent weeks and weeks on Wikipedia. This is the best you're getting in terms of organization. I had to add a baked goods column.
Who's got the muffins?
The edible one.
Yeah, that's the time I got the text from him going, okay, I can add a new category.
Now, regardless of what species you pick, in general, furries tend to see that, whether you're a dragon, whether you're a wolf, whether you're a fox, my species is more masculine than all the others, but it's also more feminine than the others. It's more sociable than all the others, more fun than the others, it's more admirable than all those other crappy species. It's not a jerk like those other species. So in general, I will say to comfort you all, whatever species you are is the best species. So this suggests that furries pick personas that are actually self-enhancing, that actually improve them or make them better. This is a long, complicated slide. The basic idea behind it is that we asked furries on these big 5 personality traits, we asked them, how much do you rate on each of these traits, yourself without your persona, we compared this to the national, averages as well, and we found that furries consider themselves less extroverted, less agreeable, less conscientious, less emotionally stable, but more open to experience. But what's interesting to note is that when you look at the personas, in general, personas tend to have a more normalizing effect. Your persona tends to be more normal than you are.
That is a skill. That is a definite skill. All right. I'm normal. So get Rainbow Fox. Oh yeah, that's real normal.
Average.
He doesn't grasp the.
I should just follow every slide with the word average, period.
I don't think you're going to get away from the commentary.
For the non-furries to have more
You got a battery
openness?
flashing message.
No, I'm running out of space.
It's actually pretty high in general.
Battery
7.0, that's actually pretty high to begin with.
Or maybe
Yeah, it's actually pretty high to begin with. Furries are just really high in openness.
Yeah, it is memory space, not battery. You got 1 minute.
So in asking people, okay, so you have this persona, but would a persona species actually influence whether or not you were willing to get along with other people?
Yes.
Or can it tell you something about other people?
No.
And we find that in general, most furries say that, no, if a person was a dog or a cat or a tiger, it wouldn't really influence how well I would get along with them. But there's a little more sort of a mixed opinion, and some furries say it does tell me at least a little bit about them.
Yeah.
And it tells you a little bit about me. If you know that I'm a cat, that's telling me something about me. And if I knew someone was a cat, it was telling me something about them. Sloth. Her new badge is a sloth. That's all I'm saying.
Who's dead?
Food ads.
Means it's 16
Baby sloths are so cute.
So yes, the more you identify with your persona, the closer you feel to your persona, the more you think that it tells others about you, and the more you think other people's persona tells you about them.